Hello viewers, and welcome to my first proper look at F1 2011. We've all been looking forward to it for some time. Let's reflect first a bit on F1 2010. When I first saw the game last year, obviously I was lucky to get hold of it pretty early, have a run. I really enjoyed it. Now, if you look at F1 games over the last 10 or so years on console, they've been absolutely terrible. And I think when I imagined F1, sort of Codemasters getting hold of the F1 license, I imagined a game that was going to be more like Grid than F1. I imagined a game that was going to be crazy cars, lots of loud rock music going around a circuit. Would they make something that would encompass Formula One fans? And Formula One is not about dumbing the sport down. They're constantly educating you in the sport. You know, Martin Brundle's talking about the chemical change of the racetrack and everything else. And it was important that an F1 game didn't necessarily insult the intelligence of the viewers, or at least of the regular F1 fans out there. You know, we're very passionate. We know we love our cars and our tyres and our aerodynamics and everything else. And it was important that the game encapsulated all of that information within it. And I think to a point on the first game they've done a very good job. So starting on this one with a base, there's already some pressure there. We know what they've done already, but they've said they're really going to work on the tyres. And up till now, they've said all the things we want to hear. And to me, that's great. You know, you can chat to a developer till you're blue in the face. But if you play the game and it doesn't play as you expect it to play, then what was the point in that? So, this week then, first time looking at F1. This is my first couple of runs we're looking at now. Hands on the wheel. Start, away we go. I've turned the game to the hardest settings. I've turned off all the assists except for ABS, because quite frankly you need ABS when you're learning. It's of course the new turn one at Silverstone. Wow, the car goes really wide there, right close to the bollards. I suddenly felt cold tyres. You know, it's a big difference. On the brakes here as well. Later than I wanted to be. The AI was hugely aggressive around this corner. You can see him barging me out the way. In fact, on later videos you'll see I get a lot more aggressive with the AI as well. Getting down this straight, everyone's using KERS. Of course I wasn't using KERS yet. I'm thinking more about, wow, I've got these tyres to worry about, and car handling and everything else. I know the circuit well, I know where I want to brake roughly, but you know, it's still getting used to the way the car will come to you now. And of course then you've got all the fuel weight to consider and everything else that's in the car. And with very limited running, i.e. first couple of goes, you're not going to know all that sort of stuff. So, already I'm finding it very aggressive. We're coming up here to Copse Corner and I turn in where I'd normally expect to turn in, say on F1, and the car is wide. You have to really aggressively get the car in there. I'm sure all the community members playing the game there realised, you know, you see that point, that apex, and you've really got to go for it. And you get that kind of leaning sensation. We'll see it on another lap here through Beckett's, all the rest of it, down the Hangar Straight. Again, I was slightly offline there, wasn't I? I didn't have the speed of traction that I wanted to. I've realised already that the tyres are key, you know, keeping traction and how you want traction. It's very easy to spin the car out, but I do like the way this time you can actually save the car. Into the slow chicane at the end of the lap. I actually find this new sort of final section to the lap quite tricky compared to the old sort of layout now. Is that you really do need to hit that apex on that right-hander just right. Again here, really fast, you know, you really want to get in there full speed. If you don't, the car will just go wide and just go off onto the grass. So you really need to be aggressive. Very slow section here. You want to get on the power, but you can feel the back end twitching as you get on the power there. Take your time, didn't get the apex just right on the power, and this next section is full speed. So normally you use a bit of KERS here. I'm actually using a little bit of KERS down this straight. Give you a bit of speed. If you don't, you will lose track position into this next section. Trying to keep the car slow, gentle on the power, waiting for it to open up before I get on the power. Again, you'll see another video where I actually span out there trying to get on the power. The tyres actually degrade. They because of the length of the race, they've actually built the tyres into that. So they'll be cold on the first lap, perfect on the second lap, falling apart on the third lap. And I'll have another video that shows literally how the tyres degrade and how I'm actually really struggling with the lack of grip. Didn't get that section right at all. Again, lots of practice needed. This, of course, is among my first couple of goes. So restart. I was happy with that last run. I learned what I wanted to. Wanted to look at the options and restart again now. Drama in the first corner there, somebody lost their front wing, but it shows just how aggressive the AI is on this build. Now remember, this AI is not final, this is all in development. you know, graphics, everything else. But handling wise though, so tyres, you really need to take care of your tyres now. How you drive will affect your tyres. It really works. Driving wise, you actually do get a feeling of grip. You know, when you're in a racing car, you turn a corner, you actually feel the tyres digging into the road and hanging onto it. You feel that G-force. In a way, they've kind of replicated this now. There is a kind of a feeling that you're kind of hanging on to your F1 tyres here as you go around some of these corners. But there's no better corner really than Copse Corner for giving you that sensation. It's a high-speed corner. You turn in, you think, is the car going to hang on or is it going to slide? And the car always does hang on, but you really do get a feeling. Here we go, into the corner. And you see the car bogging down, you know, and that's not the fastest I've done it. I've got videos which are much faster where you actually see the car almost bottoming out around the corner. It's really great to see. Aggressive through that section. Probably took a bit too much curve, but again, learning it, learning the lines, whether you can get on the power, everything else. And of course then you have your curves as well. You'll be using curves down a straight like this. You'll actually see me using curves later. Knowing where to use the curves is key. Obviously straights is where you need it. But remember that your speed is going to be higher into the braking zone, so you need to brake harder or earlier, one or the other. Actually, on some of this, it did keep mentioning that I wasn't braking enough. That might be down to the fact that it's still an early build at the moment, because I was braking for the corners. If I broke any harder, I didn't think it would be good for my tyres. I think it depends on driving style really as well. So. Again, all of that is being worked on at this stage. Unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to use DRS in this particular build. Wide through there, you can see the AI is just all over me here though, you know, and the AI was actually quite off-putting at this stage. So I mentioned to the physics chap Lee that some of the AI can attack, for example, in this section because this is an overtaking zone, but sometimes the AI would literally come out of nowhere and take you out or smash into you and so on. So as they said, it's very early in development and it's not representative. So handling, very impressive so far. I think it's moved on a long way. It is much closer to a sim than anyone would expect. It's very, very challenging to drive when you turn all the assists off. I've seen people mentioning out braking cars, you know, due to AI and all the rest of it. You see me out braking on another video, a Toro Rosso, after I've been on using my curves. He had way better traction than me on the exit of the corners. It depends how his car was set up, everything else. I mean, whether that's AI or anything, who knows, but they need to balance that, you know, because the AI at the moment do get away really well out of slow traction zones. You see them pulling away from you all the time, but I have bags more grip than them under braking. So there's got to be a certain fairness to it, otherwise you're just going to be stuck behind a car all the time. But of course on Legendary you don't want it to be too easy, and as Anthony Davidson said, it was important that each car performed in a way expected of it. So at the moment Red Bull should be running away with it, but when we lose the off-throttle blown diffusers, let's see how that affects Silverstone today and ongoing through the season. Obviously there's always different car developments. Another start, of course, you can see me, I'm just trapped between two cars. I don't know where to go, don't know where to brake. I seem to brake at the same time, but you know, it's all over there, isn't it? Jensen, I think, was getting in the way there. Another finish for Mark Webber. And another race here where I restarted after that, of course, through the first couple of corners, trying to find a way through the field basically, but I got hit from behind and that was it all over again. So that's it for Mark Webber, and that's it for that run. So first impressions are very good. I like the handling, I like what they're doing with the tyres and suspension and everything else to make sure it works. I like the feeling that you're in control of the car and that you need to be aggressive when you're driving it. I think it needs a lot more laps to really get a good feel for it. Graphically I think it's nice, but frame rate could be improved. But let's check out some more videos, and I'll be getting those up in the next few days, viewers, so I'll see you all soon.